There we go. So anyway, good morning, everybody. So it's great to see everybody. Do this every Tuesday. Freedom Team here with EXP. This is open to everybody, though. We got people here from all different companies coming in. This is always open. Sometimes we'll teach on different things. Sometimes we'll just do what we're going to do today. Really, the first Tuesday of every month, we're trying to just kind of keep it as just an open forum. Just anything and everything real estate related questions, maybe challenges you've had in a deal, something you learned in a deal recently that you want to share. Questions about your business, something about marketing, something about the market shift, just anything and everything. And we'll just open it up. And I think between all of us jumping in here, we'll be able to figure some things out. So definitely have some new agents on here. We got some people been around for 20 years plus. Kathy, myself, Aaron. Aaron's a big agent down there in Dallas. How's your business going, Aaron? Turn on yourself there. How's everything going with you?
Good. We actually now have the most listing inventory I've had in my personal inventory in over 11 years.
Really?
Yikes.
Okay.
As far as active, just because homes are taking longer to sell. And that's really what we're going after, as far as prospecting wise. So
For sure. For sure.
What are you seeing as the average days on market for you right now, Aaron, down
we
there in the
were at
Dallas area?
we were at 7 days, 6, 7 days in DFW. We're now trending closer to 30. So we're definitely seeing homes like normally we'd put a home on the weekend. You'd definitely have an offer no matter how crappy the home was or where it was priced.
Yeah.
Now it's got to be priced right and in good condition, or it's going to sit there for a while.
Yeah, I was on a mastermind right before this, and I read an article. I don't even remember where it was. I don't remember where it was, but it was earlier this morning. And I was reading that, like, it was the top 10 average days on the market in 10 different cities, like, that had the longest days on market average. And like New York, one area in New York is 166 days. And then it had like Jersey was on there, West Virginia was on there. One of the towns in Mississippi was on there. That was the only one in the South. But anyway, it was interesting. And I think of those 10 market, none of them were California. I feel like in the past, we've seen it kind of start west and then migrate across the country, as shifts happen. But ironically, probably 6 or 7 of them were in the Northeast, like, West Virginia up. And then there was one Mississippi, but and I can't remember what the other 2 were. But anyway, it was interesting. But when I saw that one for New York, the average days on the market was 166 days now. Crazy.
I think your discussions have to be different, and the way you prepare for a listing appointment has to be a little different. So we used to take this simple, market analysis, ours kind of more complex, I guess, than simple, but the market analysis, and it would just have, your days on market, your average sales price, list price, sales price. We really hone in on when the home sold, and then we'll make notes in the margin what the interest rate was on those days. And so it's funny because everything that sold in like February, March, April, when interest rates were still in the 3s, very low 4s, we still were seeing homes selling above list price, priced at 400, sell 425, multiple offers. So we'll make a note of that in the margins on the CMA. And as we've gotten closer to today's date, the multiple offers have gone down. The average, obviously, interest rate has gone up, and the sales prices are typically falling at or below where they listed at. So it's a good way to prepare your seller. Hey, I know we have to look backwards because an appraiser does, but 6 months. But it was totally different market because we were under totally different financial constraints at that point. So buyers' purchasing powers is less. So now it's more important than ever to price your property correctly and not price it for unbelievable max value, because you're probably not going to get that.
So let's talk about.
Can I say real quick, Kathy? And I think to Aaron, I think this is where you mentioned it. You've got to be able to have that conversation with the seller.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of the newer agents on here, just and again, we can't see everybody, not everybody's cameras on, but just, I think there's probably people on here that have been in the business for 2-3 years or less even. There's a lot of new agents in the last few years. You haven't had to have like really in-depth good conversations with your clients. It just hasn't been necessary. And now it's necessary, you know? There we go. So, what would you agree with that, Aaron? I mean, you've got like going back to like you and I started at the same time. We didn't know each other, but we met at a conference, 20 years ago, and got plugged in with Craig Proctor. And back then, like for us, I'm in Colorado Springs. I mean, my first 6 years in the business, average days on the market up here was 40, 45, 50.
Yeah.
That was just the average. We'd have 3,500 homes on the market at any given time. Like this is just what it was. The last 2 or 3 years have been abnormal. They haven't been normal. You know what I mean? Now, and again, so if you come in the last couple, 2, 3 years, you're trying to figure all that out, but you've got to learn how to have good conversations with your clients. You've got to learn how to have that talk about setting price and about the market and showing them things. If you can show them the data, and learn how to show the data, get the reports, get the graphs, get the charts, show days on market, look at all the homes that have had price drops in the last, 2 weeks in your market and in that price range. And just, you got to show all that stuff and educate your clients. I mean, what would you say to that, Aaron, right there? Just that idea. Because you and I we did that for years. And in the last couple of years, we really haven't had to do that in the way we're having to do it again now. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. The conversation piece is huge, and it has to happen up front.
On the front.
And then you have to let them know in a market like we're shifting into what they could possibly be experiencing with price reductions and market volatility. It's a little bit more stale, takes a little longer to sell a house. Why is that? Because there's fewer buyers, because interest rates, purchasing power is down. So you talk about all that, but you also talk about, okay, when do we know it's time to move the price down? You have to have those discussions up front. So when you have it, 2, 3 weeks later, it's not a shock to them. And they're not like, oh, you're just trying to, cut me down. So, it's one of those up front. You got to say, hey, I think we're good at 400, but here's the range of how many showings we should have within the next 2 weeks. If we don't have an offer within that amount of showings, we need to come down. Right. And it's just, we have a bullseye sheet that shows, if you're getting this many showings and this many offers, this is where you should be, 1 to 3% off or whatever, So I think it's very important that you have them up front, but then throughout the time, like we've become very lazy over the last 3 or 4 years, myself included. We haven't had to communicate with your seller on a weekly basis. Here's how the market's doing. Here's what's going on, because their home sold in a weekend. So the first communication you had after you signed the listing agreement was the contracts or the offers, right? Now that's different. You have to communicate directly with them on a weekly basis to keep them informed of what's going on. We are now setting up, once again, a search parameter around their house. So if they're listed at 123 Main Street and they're in like my neighborhood, Hidden Lakes, we'll set up their home like they're searching for their home in Hidden Lakes around their house, so that they can see all the activity, how many homes are coming on the market, how many are going under contract, and they get notified just like they're a buyer. So it pre-sells me before I have that weekly call, like, hey, you saw that these 3 homes went under contract and there were 20,000 less than yours. It's kind of telling us where we need to be.
That's good.
Because they chose those homes over your home.
So that's a great idea. So I want to make sure everybody caught that, right? So when you're listing a home, you just put them up, set them up like a buyer, send them an automatic search, and you let them know in the listing presentation. I assume you're going to be doing that, right? So yeah. I'm going to be sending you every week or every day as things hit the market or things go under contract. I'm going to be sending you a list of, homes in your neighborhood or your immediate area. So that's good stuff. And like you said, we haven't had to do that stuff. It's almost like, those of us that have been around for a long time, it's like, oh man, what did we used to do when we had to really work as a listing agent? What were all the things that we did to, really market it most effectively and do all those things that, that we do?
How many of you guys have read this book? Anybody read this book? How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh yeah.
Classic book, Dale Carnegie, written years ago, but still sells millions of copies like every year to this day. How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you haven't read this book, I would read this book. It's an easy read. It's a good read. But again, it's like having those conversations. I found a PDF version of that, which I will you know, if you're part of Freedom Team, whatever, I'll post that PDF in the workplace group, so you can just read it online. You could download it, whatever. Whatever. If you are outside of, you know, outside of workplace or not part of our group, whatever, let me know. I'll send it to you. But really, really good. I think it was one of those reminders I saw were just about, again, having those conversations. But I think, Aaron, what you just said there is really good, Kathy, you know, to emphasize that, because it's just, that's a great plan. You've got to have those conversations. We used to do that. I remember, and I learned this, you know, in Craig Proctor's program. Aaron, you remember this, like, you know, the first, you know, we put the house on the market. You know, we should have at least, you know, if we haven't had an offer within 10 showings or 30 days, whichever comes first, you know, then we need to do a price adjustment. And I would have that conversation up front before we even put it on the market. So they just knew, like, so if we go 10 days, let's say we've had 10 showings in the first couple of weeks, but no offers, we're close. We're just not close, and we're just not good enough yet to get the offer. Why wait? Why go another 10 showings and not get another offer? So let's do a slight adjustment. It might be 1.5 to 3%. And you do that adjustment, and now you're good enough where some of those people come back, but now you get the offer. You know, or let's say you go 30 days and you've had, you know, 8 showings. It's time to do a price adjustment again. Now, if you go, you know, and I would hit them up front too. If we go 2 weeks and we've only had 1 showing, we're probably 3 to 5% off. We're not where we need to be, because we're going to go and you'll go 30 days and have 2 showings. You're going to be old news pretty quick, you know, and that's not a good place to be. So you got to be aggressive up front and have those conversations with the sellers, to be, you know, but prepare them ahead of time. And then it's an easy conversation. If you don't have that conversation up front, now you're calling them and, you know, well, let's wait another month and see what happens. And next thing you know, this is where we go back. Now you're on the market for 90 days. And, you know, now it's what's wrong with that house. And because buyers still have that thought,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, they see those things that are on there forever, you know, whatever and we're starting to see more and more of that. Expired listings, those are coming back. And we've talked about that on here on Tuesday mornings. You know, what's the service that you, Red X, really good service, pretty cheap. You know, great way to get a list every day of expired listings. I know a couple weeks ago, Denver, I was looking at the Denver MLS. There were over 700 expired listings last month. You know, and most of those are people that, you know, some of them don't have to sell and they'll just come off the market. A lot of those people want to sell, need to sell, whatever, but it just, again, they weren't priced right. They weren't, you know, they didn't adjust for the market, whatever. There's listings there, you know, there's business there that you could pick up on. So,
well, the thing to add on about Red X, that is, you know, we, with our MLS, we can get expired listings. We can look up what listings have expired, but with Red X, they give you the owner's name and the contact information.
Phone number, email,
public number anywhere. Red X has that, and much of the time it's accurate. Sometimes you'll get some that's not an accurate number, but it just makes it easy for you to get the list of expireds, who the seller is or who the owner is, and their contact information. So yeah, great service.
Definitely. Yeah, there's a few of those. There's one called Vulcan 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's several of them. You can just search them, but I've never called an expired, so I can't go really.
Yeah. Kelly has a question. Kelly.
Yes, Aaron, Kathy, Jeff, I have a listing coming on, and on the front end, in terms of the marketing and in terms of when you engage in the open house, what do you do to market it outside of MLS and some of the social media postings? And then when do you engage in the open house if it hasn't moved?
I can answer what we do. So up front, we do a single property website for all of our sites. We use a service called RELA, RELAHQ.com. It's pretty cheap. I think for 5 active listings, it's like $40 a month, something, but it creates a single page site for every property. You can dump in all your photos, descriptions, 3D tours. I can post one in here after I'm done talking. I'll post a link where you can go jump in and look at one of ours. And then I think it's imperative that you're doing everything you can on the front end, marketing wise, professional photos, 3D Matterport tour. Like I said, the single page site, then we can actually advertise right out of there. So like we just took a listing. It's a decent one, 700,000 on an acre. we marketed that in Keller for the weekend. So we spent $75 on Facebook ads through Rela, what we call Rela HQ. Through them, they did all the posting and everything. And we got 46 leads on $75. Not bad. Many of those, I think we've already booked 4 appointments off of those for buyers. So pretty good for 5 days worth of marketing. But I can now take that back and show the seller what I'm doing on that end. We typically try to have an open house their first weekend that they're on the market.
Yeah.
We discuss that with them right up front. We can market that as well, Facebook and all the other places. As far as other marketing that we do mail outs to 200 homes around the house. We do it more as a pick your neighbor or trade into this house. We use a trade program. There's several. We used to do the buy this home, we'll buy yours for cash. We still advertise it, but we've actually got relationships with a few lenders that will actually buy a buyer's house so they don't have to do a contingency. That's a whole nother thing, but they will actually, here in Texas, we have that relationship with someone that will allow the buyer to buy for cash, and then they have to use them as their lender, pay a little like 2% fee to do it, but it's worth it because they don't have to do a contingency now.
Is that Ribbon?
That's Homeward. So
We've got a similar one here, Ribbon. So your marketing that says we'll buy your home for cash, do you use like express offers for that where you can?
So there's that's an old Craig Proctor marketing deal.
Yeah.
But it's, buy this home, we'll buy yours for cash. We'll make a cash offer on somebody else's house, 95% of market. We close in 3 months. If we sell it for more than 95% of market, they get to keep the difference. We rip up our offer, but then their offer is a 3-month closing. So is the seller going to take it? Probably not, but we can market with it. Right. And it's pretty effective.
Yeah. But then they have to buy from you too, right?
Yes, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it has to
I'm
be
with Aaron on the open houses. Kelly, I do those right off the gate. I get the marketing all in place. And then if I'm going to do an open house, then I want to do that first weekend to draw as much attention and as much activity. The other thing that Aaron didn't mention that I'm a huge proponent of is staging. So I've got a stager, and I will, I've got one. Not all of them want to stage or spruce up houses that people are living in them, but I've got one who will do that. And so I'm a huge proponent of that. And honestly, I will tell the sellers that I will pay the consultation fee, but if they choose to do the staging, I have them pay for it. I don't pay for that, but we talk about how much more your home how much more it sells for and how it sells faster. So it sells for more money and it sells faster if you have your home staged.
With an empty house, would you do that as well, Kathy?
100% with an empty house, because you think about all the new construction homes out there. Why do they all have model homes? Because when we walk into a home, it's buyers buy homes off emotions a lot of times, right? They found the location, they got to feel the home. And when you walk into an empty house, it feels cold. And so 100%, like even more so with the empty house, I'm an advocate of it. Versus living there, sometimes people have good decorating, knacks and when they live there, right? But not always. Like I just listed a house and, it wasn't decorated very nice. It was just plain. It wasn't ugly or bad. It's just plain. And I had my stager come in, staged it up, and, we got it sold. But 100% vacant. And usually they're just doing the main rooms, they're doing the family room, the kitchen, the master bedroom. If there's a bonus room or an office, they'll stage that. They'll stage the outside deck or patio, some things like that. They don't stage every single room.
I agree. And we do the same thing. And our expense, the ratio I always use in my head is, basically like 1.5% of whatever the home value is. So like if it's $300,000 home, I'll spend up to $450 on staging. $600,000 home, I'll spend up to, $900 on staging, whatever. Cause I know but they have to pay me a full commission. They got to pay me a $395 transaction fee. They can't skimp on any fees and get all the services.
But
And
that's all your stager charges? Or is that all you pay and they pay the rest?
that's all I pay.
Okay, so you'll pay 1.5% and then you have them pay the difference.
Correct.
So I will offer.
Or whatever that is. I don't know if that's even 1.5%, whatever the math works out. Yeah.
So I offer to pay the consult fee, but when they choose, which is only a couple $100, and they'll give them a detailed list of what they can do on their own. But then if they end up hiring the stager, my stager doesn't even charge me the consult fee, right? You know, I don't even end up paying that.
Yeah, we always eat the consult fee no matter what, and then
and then you'll pay a little bit towards. Eric, did you have a comment?
Let me put out one thing, Kelly, real quick, too. We did a one of these Tuesday masterminds we did. Lane, my wife Lane, actually did a whole hour on staging, and got some good feedback on that. She's done a lot of that as well. Just to take that topic, anybody wants to see that, you can go on the workplace page and find the recording of that. But there was just some good thoughts on there and different things she's done with it as well. So just to put that out there, but I totally agree, especially if it's empty. Like Kathy said, it's good, and it doesn't. You're not going to do the whole house, but to do like the kitchen and some of these areas, it can look so nice. Pictures look great. It helps your pictures and all that stuff. So some good stuff.
And then with open houses, just to finish off with Kelly's question on open houses, I always try to do the first weekend because that's usually your best weekend for traffic, even in a bad market. Like when it was 2010, your first weekend's always your best weekend. So I always try to piggyback the open house, and I never do open houses, but I have people that do them, or if my team doesn't do them and I have somebody else, they have to use our branding. So we require 20 signs that are branded with, my ugly picture on it and, directionals and everything. The reason we use 20 is because it inundates the area we're doing the open house in, especially if we have one on a Saturday and one on a Sunday. It looks like we have every house in town, So I've gotten more seller calls off of open house signs because, man, you're everywhere. We see your signs everywhere. I may only have 3 listings, but we did open houses on consecutive weekends and it looks like I got 50 listings, so that helps build brand awareness too. And then Brent Gove's got a great training on open houses on his site. If somebody wants to
say that, because his training on open houses, that mega open house, whatever. I mean, free list of homes. All of his open house signs say that, and so he'll get all these people showing up just to get the list. You've got just pre-printed lists of homes around that area. They'll come to get that, but now he's getting their name, their phone number, all this stuff, and he's got a great training on his website. So brentgove.com or Gove Resources, whatever it is. But real quick, while we're on the topic of open houses, because Eric texted me. Eric, do you want to talk about open houses real quick? Do you want to have
briefly? You mentioned. Thanks. You guys are doing great. I'll just pop in for just a moment. You were talking about open houses. I had heard that, so I jumped on. And if those of you that were in the interview that I did last week with Brent Gove, he spent a few minutes talking specifically about open houses and maximizing it. With your permission, Jeff, I've got that piece queued up. It's about 4 minutes long.
Sure.
I think it's valuable for those that haven't heard it, and it's easily valuable for those that have heard it once. But I do want to say one thing before we go into this. As I talk to agents, I'm doing this for a while, as I talk to agents, one of the first things I tell every agent is if you're starving for business, the number one way to gather business quickly is through open houses.
Open house.
Now, we get this all the time. Oh, I'm tired of doing them. They don't work. They don't work. Let me tell you a true story of what happened over the last 1 week. First of all, when you do open houses, there are some open houses because of location and houses. You know that it's a prominent, it doesn't need to be the nicest house in the neighborhood, but it's one that's going to gain traffic. If you've been around the industry, you know some gain traffic and some generally don't. If you can find one that if it generates some traffic, but good traffic means typically people come through, they're the right types of people. Many of them don't have agents and agents that they're already working with. So I've had an agent sit on the exact same house 4 days last week. They sat there from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock 2 days. They sat there from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock 2 days. In those 4 days they sat there, guess what? They had 2 people that wanted to buy the house. One of them still might, but they picked up 4 clients, one from each day. The house was an $895,000 house. All 4 clients are over $700,000. They've already taken one of those clients out this past weekend to look at 5 houses to put an offer in on 1. So those of you that are, where's business? You know, where can I find it? The fastest way to generate business, quite honestly, is by picking up the phone, calling expireds or FSBOs. But if you're not going to do that, just generate open houses. And if you're going to do open houses, what Aaron Kinn just said is magic. You need to be known as the person that does open houses. Your sign is everywhere. The least expensive advertising you can do, listen to this, the least expensive is the 4th open house sign, the 5th open house sign, the 6th open house sign. And when you get to the 15th, 16th, and 17th open house sign, you're really generating incredible interest by just one more sign. I want you to know the compounding of signs, as Aaron said, is incredibly knowledgeable, and it works incredibly well. So with no further ado, let me pop on Brent, and here we go. Share. You gotta let me share my screen.
Yeah, let's see.
And then I'm gonna bounce after it's over. So
Eric. Let's see. Can you share it?
Disable. No, just make me a co-host. Go to my picture up on the right, the 3 buttons.
Yeah, no, let's see.
Or somebody can.
Try that. Does that work?
I don't know. We'll find out. No, host disabled participant screen sharing.
Can you do it, Kim? You got it?
Right now.
Oh, Kim. Oh, Kim. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, I know. Now we gotta get there. Suitable for. Why is it now frozen? Now I'm frozen. Hold on.
One thing, just to pop that out while he's getting that ready, guys. If you're a newer agent, you're new and you don't have any listings right now, call some of the other agents. Reach out to other agents, and ask them, hey, do you have any houses? Or put it on Workplace. Go out. Do you have any houses that I could do an open house for? Do you have any listings that I could sit in this weekend, do an open house? We get those calls, my wife and I, and we gladly, we will gladly, set you up with, give you all of our signs, come over, pick them up on a Friday, go put them out and set the open house for the weekend. There's lots of agents that'll let you do that, so just be aware of that. So anyway.
Here we go.
Cool.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm assuming it's going. I can't see you guys, so I'm assuming it's going now.
I started doing open houses Saturday, Sunday, and I would, start them at 9 or 10 in the morning and go till 6, 7, 8 at night. And people just don't do that. They do a 2-hour open house. Oh my God, I was out there from 2 to 4, was exhausted. How many signs you put out? 5. Anyone come? No, I broke a nail. I got a red light. I got a ticket for put my sign in the wrong place. Today I did 3 hours. I mean, that's what children do at Taco Bell when they get their first job. They work 2 and 3 and 4 hour shifts. You are a grown man. You're a grown woman. I would get out there at 10 in the morning and cast my nets and put out 30 signs. That's a bit obnoxious. Well, I'd have 100 people at my open houses, and I'm swinging the bat 100 times on Saturday, 100 times on Sunday, and I got really good. It's actually my superpower. My superpower is open houses. I would go anywhere in America. Well, they don't work in Colorado. They don't work in Portland. Oh yeah? Let me parachute into your sign and put out 100 signs, and I'll work from 8 in the morning till midnight, Saturdays and Sundays, for 2 or 3 months, and I'll be so busy. I'll have so many clients that I'll have goals like selling 30 homes in 30 days. To hell with 30 homes a year. And the reason we think so small is proximity is power. You ain't hanging out with people who think big. And so you can't sell 30 homes if you have 3 clients. But if you have 90, well, how do you get 90? I just told you how to get 90 clients. And you got to put free list of area homes on the sign instead of Coldwell Banker or Remax or EXP. Take that. Nobody goes to the open house because it says Compass, because it says Center to Win. Get that stuff off your sign. Get it off your sign. Open house signs, open house, free list of area homes, arrow. They show up for the free list of area homes. They might go, oh, there's an open house here in Tahoe, in San Diego, in Dallas, in San Antonio, in West Palm Beach, in Fort Lauderdale, in Seattle. They may drive by, they pull up, oh, it's 2-story, I have a bad knee. They drive away. You ever see them drive up, drive away, drive up, drive away? Well, guess what? Oh, it's English tutor. I hate English tutor. Personally, I don't like English tutor. Oh, it's super modern looking. It's real boxy. I don't like that. Neither do I. I drive away too, but oh, that guy's got a free list of area homes. Let's go in and get the list because we like the area, the magic. And I'll stop because I'm doing a training on open houses right now. But that is my superpower. I could parachute into any market and absolutely freaking rip the cover off the ball because, man, I can't wait. And yes, I had some open houses that sucked and didn't turn out. I put out 30 signs and I didn't have 100 people, but usually I did. I mean, a bad turnout was 50 to 100. Then I'm like, well, I don't know how to convert them because you have 3 people come in 3 hours because you put out 5 signs and it said Coldwell Banker or EXP. So I'll stop. There was a little mini open house training there. I apologize, but man, I want you to succeed in the shifting market and it's going to take massive action. And guess what? By the way, Monday through Friday, I was at the zoo. I was at the museum. I was at Apple Hill in the pumpkin patch. I was the only dad there because I took my free time Monday through Friday. On the weekend, I was a weekend warrior. I went out and got the clients. Yes, I showed property, but I was able to work it around what I was doing. So, okay, go ahead, Eric.
Well, no, you referenced that it's your superpower, but can't it honestly be anyone? Could not open houses become anyone's superpower?
Totally. You got to do the work. And you're like, well, I can't convert like that. I didn't either. I was terrible. If I could say I sucked at first. I literally chased people in the car. They're like, go Wilma, hit it. They'd burn rubber out of the court. I'm trying, hey, let me get your name and number. Can I help you? I hated that feeling. I hated it. And then I learned how to say things that were so compelling. I remember my record was, it was a rainy day, 40-mile-an-hour rains. I stopped by Cragen's Auto Supply and bought bungee cords because my signs would just blow away. And I bungee corded them to every telephone pole and tree because they weren't going to stay in the ground. And I brought a change of clothing, like completely, and a giant towel. And I toweled off, redid my hair, changed. It was raining cats and dogs, 40-mile-an-hour winds. And in 3.5 hours, I got about 50 people through that open house. 37 of them gave me their private social security numbers. So I don't know what you collect at open houses, but I collect social security numbers. Every one of them was accurate. Not one of them was made up. So what was I saying that was so compelling? Well, if you go to brentgove.com, click on real estate, click on buyers, and watch the open house training. I did a 90-minute training on this. I can tell you, I can't tell you now, but I'll tell you this. Nobody taught me that. I learned how to do it, and then through massive failure. So at first you suck, then you're okay, then you're kind of okay, then you're kind of good, then you're good, then you're better than good, then you're almost borderlining great, then you're great, but you get there through failure. And most of you just refuse to fail, man. You got to turn it up and embrace failure. Like freaking go, you know what? I eat failure for breakfast. And it's like snow skiing. You fall, you fall, you fall. But if you skied with me in Taos, New Mexico, every day for 30 days. The worst of you, if you're brand new, you would be an awesome skier in 30 days with a little instructor. You'd be great. You just don't ski enough. And so you got to get to the bat and swing and swing and swing and swing and swing again at the ball. You will eventually hit the ball. Especially if there's a coach there that teach you how to stick, you ride the ball, follow through. And so that's all this is. Eric?
That's gold right there.
His energy is awesome.
Yeah.
With that said, I mean, open houses still are the bomb. Pick the right places and just sit on them. Find a seller that's willing to let you sit on their open house and just keep sitting and sitting and sitting and gather client after client after client and let everybody in the neighborhood know that's driving by you own the neighborhood. Go ahead, Jeff.
That was awesome. I mean, there's so many things to pick up from that, guys, and you can see the full training again on his website. But yeah, just the more signs, the better. That free list of homes, that's gold. Bringing in more people. Again, they drive up. I've had that so many times. They drive up and drive away, drive up and drive away. But get them to come in because they want the list. They don't like the house.
First house I sold was at an open house.
Open house, yeah.
I mean, it's like he said, like Eric said. I mean, if you need business, for really the last 18 months, 2 years, we haven't done open houses because they're selling the day, 10 offers day, put it on the market. But, with this market shift, as we've been talking about, open houses are beginning to be a thing again. And Christy, you've had your hand up for a while. Did you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I just had a quick comment about the staging that we were talking about years and years ago, back when staging first started being a thing. My husband and I were fixing and flipping properties, and I caught wind of a class that someone, I think from Hollywood, that used to be an actress, was going to hold, and it was all about staging. So I went to the class, and she talked about going above and beyond staging and creating pockets of emotion in every room. And a pocket of emotion is like unicorns in a little girl's room that makes her scream she wants to live there, or popcorn and Budweiser beer in the refrigerator that really attracts a man, or special spa stuff in the master bathroom, neutral colors. So I left the training. I promptly went shopping and spent literally a lot of money. I'm going to give it a try. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to give it a try. I kid you not, the first lady who walked in the house walked into the kitchen, and you know if you hit a pocket of emotion, because an adult will double over and go, oh, and moan. I kid you not, she walked in the kitchen and doubled over and moaned. My husband and I looked at each other. She bought the house.
So she saw the Budweiser and popcorn in the kitchen?
Little random stuff too, but try to think above staging and create that aha moment, that pocket of emotion that connects with them. If it's a community for younger people, something that younger people are really into. If it's older, something older, just whatever it is that you think will create that aha moment, that pocket of emotion. It's just a little bit more than staging, and it did work.
That's a great point, because any of us can do that with our listings. If your seller's not willing to, pay for staging, or you're not wanting to pay for a full staging, I mean, we can all create those little pockets of emotion in each room. And, I've not ever heard it said like that. So, I like that. And that's something that all of us, like I said, we can all afford to go create little pockets. Well, I shouldn't say we can all afford. But you just collect that stuff over time. If you can't go out and buy it all at one time, like you just think about, okay, if I'm staging this room, this room, this room, in an office, like what would I put in there to create that emotion? If I'm, doing a kitchen. So love that idea.
Definitely. Aaron, go ahead.
I just want to say, and this may be a little forced or forward, but if you don't have the ability or the monetary position right now to market a property effectively in today's market, like spend money on it, you should refer that business to someone else that does. And then tell them you're willing to work every single buyer and do every open house on that property like it is your listing, because that you don't have to spend any money on, just time capital. Because you're doing that seller a disservice if you're not doing the staging, the professional photos, you're costing them money. Because I see too many people that they're just in the business, and I'm talking in our market, where I see a house that doesn't even have pictures, or it has pictures with an iPhone and they're crooked, and it's like, come on,
yeah,
this is a $600,000 house.
Yeah,
you're gonna make
partner with an eight. Even if you don't refer it off, just partner. Like, hey, I've got a listing, and would you partner with me 50-50? And so I mean, I
would pay anyone 50% of my commission, and they split the expenses at the close.
Yeah.
If I had to take all the expenses up front, anyone, I would do any listing for that. Yeah. I see too many people that just try to get into it because, they thought this was going to be an easy business, and they figure out it's not. And they do a disservice to somebody that this is their single biggest asset, and they cost them money. We just had one the other day where the home sold at $385,000 with a pool. Every home in that neighborhood had sold for $450,000 plus with a pool, because they put it on the market. They didn't take a picture of the pool, and they didn't say it had a pool in the marketing. They cost their person $70,000+, and it infuriated me.
Yeah.
When you're looking at comps, and that's just, unfortunately, that's an agent that didn't know what they're doing, didn't have proper training, but that's why we come on these things too. So sorry, I'm going to step off my soapbox.
No, it's good. And I think here's the thing. I think it's a valuable point in the sense that there are going to be agents that are going to get weeded out of this market.
Yeah.
They will get pushed out of this market, because you've got to be a pro. We need to be pros anyway. I mean, it's just the entry level here is so easy.
Mhm.
You know, and you know, you're getting hired, you know, by a seller, by a buyer, you know, the biggest transaction of their lives. And we owe them, you know, to be a pro and to do it right and to get them the maximum value on their sale, you know, to get them the best deal that we can, you know, if they're buying the house and we're working with that buyer and we're representing that buyer, you know, be a pro with it, because again, it's not fair to them, you know, and here's why we got into this, you know, hopefully. But they will be weeded out. And here's the thing, we talked about this, I think about a month ago when we were on here, kind of this open forum like this, that again, you're because some of those agents are going to start getting weeded out. You're going to start now competing on listing appointments. Those sellers are going to be interviewing 4 and 5 agents. The bad agents are going to be weeded out of the business. You know, you are going to be competing against the better agents. So your game has to elevate, you know, or you will not get that listing. That's going to happen more and more. So just study this stuff, you know, get in on this stuff, do it right, like what Aaron said. And if you can't afford it, that's okay. Partner up, like Kathy said, you know, refer it to that agent, maybe get the referral fee, whatever,
Yeah.
like, you know, work with the buyers, work with you. You can still pick up a lot of business from that deal. And you can work that right to where now the next one you do have the money where you can do it right, you know, and become a pro. And now that seller's referring you to 3 other sellers because, oh my God, look at, you know, here's what my agent did for me. You know, get to the selling, get to the closing, not just to pick up the check. Get to the closing to get referrals. That's what I taught my team all the time. This is not about just getting the closing to pick up the check and go to the bank. The checks will come. But if that's all you're in it for, you will pay a price down the road for that. Because again, it's like, do such an outstanding job for them that they're referring you that much more business coming out of it. Build your reputation, the word of mouth gets out, whatever. That right there is worth way more than that one check you get from that one deal. So do it right, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it said, you know, that every client you have ought to, over the life of, you know, over their life of your relationship with them, should garner you 3 to 5 referrals. So if you've done it right, you've treated them right on the front end, but even beyond that, stayed in touch with them beyond the closing time, you know, beyond the closing date. You know, it ought to bring 3 to 5 referrals to you. And, you know, even in that partnership, like we're talking about, if you refer it off, like do the open houses, you know, then go, you be the back end piece of it. If you can't afford to market on the front end, you know, and I agree with what you said, Aaron, like we've got to be willing to do we've got to be willing to figure out how to come up with the money, whether we're partnering or whatever, to market a seller's home properly.
For sure.
What other topic does anybody want to open up?
Danielle has a question before we go to her question real quick. If Jennifer Johnson is on here, whatever, and I know there's some people on here, iPhone, iPad, a couple people, so I don't know who is. Jennifer had messaged me a couple days ago that she had a couple situations she wanted to talk about on here. Jennifer, if you're on here, raise your hand. We'll come to you. If not, I'll get back to you another time. But anyway, Danielle, you have a question? Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I can't. I'm not on video. I'm like still in my pajamas.
You're breaking up
I
really
joined
bad.
EX.
Go, try it again.
Oh no.
Go ahead, try it again. Let's see if we can hear you.
Okay, how about now?
Could you
Me
guys?
better?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out really bad though.
Oh, that sucks. Is it better?
See if you can type your question in the chat if you can. Yeah, we're not going to hear that. That's, I don't know. Your service is not good. Type your question in the chat and we'll see if we can talk about it. Okay, if you don't mind doing that. There she went out. Maybe come back in. Christy, do you have another comment, question?
I do. I have a question about open houses. Do you guys find that Saturday and Sunday are the best days, or should we be doing them during the week?
Any thoughts on that? Anybody?
I think if you know, I think you got to test it in your market and just see, and then make sure that you're getting it advertised and what have you. But if I were going to do it during the week, I would probably do like a 5 p to 7 p when people are driving home from work, where they're going to stop by potentially, right? So if you did that, I think try to do it at the end of the day. during that time. But you know, what I have found with open houses is if it's a house that is out in the country or not easily accessible, or you don't have a lot of traffic driving by, maybe in the neighborhood, I have found it's harder to drive traffic to those houses than if you're in a neighborhood, you know, just in, you know, not out in the boondocks type thing. So I don't know if y'all have had that same experience. So I think maybe once ever I tried one during the week and it was in the evening, and it, you know, once isn't a great example of if it works or not, but my recollection is, and it was a long time ago, is I didn't have very good traffic. And, you know, I think the public, they're trained for Sunday afternoons. Like I've not even had as great a traffic on a Saturday when I've done it on a Saturday.
Kathy,
Yeah.
I think it also depends who your target audience is. For example, if your listing is a short-term rental, it's investors. That's a during the week client. If
Yeah.
your target audience or highest and best use for that property is to tear it down and build two, then your target audience is a builder or a developer, and that your open house should be during the week and in the mornings. First thing, starting at 7 a.m. if it's you're marketing toward a builder. So I think it really depends on the property and who your target audience is. Know your target and have that open house when they can see it.
It's good.
That's
Good
great
point.
feedback. Thanks, you
point.
guys, because I have wondered what is the best way to do this. I have started doing open houses for different realtors in town because I need to generate business. I'm new. So thank you.
Sure. And you can, you know, I have, you know, there were some questions in the chat there. I mean, you know, can you do them for other agents, even in other companies outside of your company? And again, talk to your broker, but I've seen that done, you know, many times. Whatever, you know, I had a new agent in Arizona that was with EXP, but he was doing open houses for some Remax agents, you know, and just, you know, whatever, called them up and they were happy to do it. And again, he's picking up, you know, the business, and it helped that agent with their seller, and, you know, whatever. A lot of agents will share things like that. You might want to talk to your broker, see if that's okay, but it should be fine. You know, and the signs, guys, they don't have, we're not talking like the $50, $60 for sale signs, the metal signs. You can get it's a kind of that corrugated cardboard kind of thing with the wires, you know, whatever. They're like $10 a piece or something. Go get, you know, 20, 30 of them, you know, whatever. And they're cheap and they're simple to do. So, cool as far as that goes. What other comments, questions, anything that you're doing, anything you're finding with the shift in the market, any concerns about that or questions about that? A lot of the newer agents, you know, again, some of us have been around a while. We've been through all kinds of shifts, you know, Kathy's been through it. Aaron's been through it, different ones, you know, so you learn to adjust. And again, we're kind of going back to a little bit more normal to some degree, you know, but nowhere near even where there's still just a big shortage of home, you know. Let me just something to maybe, let me share something here, because I saw this today. I just subscribed to Keeping Current Matters. I would tell you guys it's a great place to go, but they do a blog every day that you can post and market with and all kinds of stuff. So just so you can see this is the one for today, you know, and they've got some graphs on here. Supply of homes, nothing like last time, you know, and you can see where, you know, maybe down here, this is just national statistics. It's going to vary a little bit by market, but you can see back here in, you know, 2007, 8, 9, and 10, you can see way up to, you know, 9-10 months supply of homes, you know. Right now we're at about a 3-month supply. I mean, so, you know, nationwide. Right here, you know, lending standards are completely different, you know, to this day. There's some arms out there and that kind of stuff, but nothing like what it was, you know, back in 08 and 09, which was a big, you know, cause of that. Foreclosures, they're coming up a little bit, but it's still just so far away from, you know, what they were, you know, back in the day. The other thing I want to share is just is something right here. You can see this, just something to keep in mind, you know. Let me pull this up. You know, we talked about this a little bit before. Recession doesn't equal a housing crisis. Don't let that word like scare you in that sense. Yes, it's, you know, you got to be smart in this kind of stuff, everything. But again, you look at, you know, the last 6 recessions and whatever, you know, housing prices still continue to go up. The one everybody thinks about is 2008. because that was, a nightmare for 2 and 3 years. That was, the biggest price drop we've seen, over the years. But if you look at this here, you can see the different recessions that we've been through. Prices still continue to go up. The other thing, just to show you here, home prices, again, the forecast is still over the next 5 years in terms of buyers. Should I wait? Whatever. They're still predicted to go up. Most things that I've read, prices are still predicted to go up about, right around an average from NAR to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all these different forecasts coming out. About the average is about 8% for this year. And then over the next, 4 years after that, you can still see, and you can use some of this stuff to talk to buyers in a sense. It's still, if you're waiting, because you think prices are going to drop. I mean, yes, they've gone up, way overboard the last couple of years. We might see some adjustments here, but we're still so far ahead of the game there. And again, interest rates, typically what happens in a recession, interest rates go up at first, but then they start coming down because they're trying to correct that recession and come out of that. So you look at the recessions, whatever, mortgage rates, during 2007, 2009, they were at 6%. They came down, over those 2 and 3 years down to 4.9. I don't know. We're probably not going to see the 2% rates and the 3% rates. I think those are gone personally. I could be wrong in that. I think we're going to see probably a little bit of an uptick here, whatever, but they've been coming down the last 4 and 5 weeks. We're back down. I was talking to somebody yesterday. They were back down in the 4s yesterday. So anyway, just some things to look at there, but
Try iPad has
Try iPad. I don't know who that is. But
I don't know who Try iPad is.
Got your hand raised. There we go.
Hi, I'm Katria Sanders. I'm the newer agent in Bowling Green. This is probably like my second full agent month. I'm going at it.
Yay, welcome.
Thank you. But I know you guys had mentioned to do open houses. I haven't really had any deals yet, right? I did some showings, almost had a contract, but then that fell through. Been doing good, but what else do you guys recommend for a newer agent to do, like just starting out? I know you said open houses. I've been thinking about social media marketing, just posting stuff on my Facebook every now and then about the market or anything, but where would we go to find that information, or do you guys even recommend to do that?
So one thing that I would say about social media is go out to vacant houses. You don't want to kick the sellers out of the house, but go and do video tours. Like, hey, out here, like you want to get the perception that you're busy, that you're doing real estate. You don't want to lie, obviously, but I just be, out here, at 123 Main Street, check out this house, right? You don't act, I just act like a buyer's with me without saying they are or they aren't. And so just do, videos, go to different houses, maybe, one every other day or even every day, and just go, and point out a unique feature about that house. So I think you can go, I would just do video on social media for sure.
Okay.
And so you can just look through your MLS and just look at the pictures, and if it's vacant or if it's staged, you can find out from the listing agent if anyone, lives there, if you're not sure if it's staged and has furniture in there. Like I said, I'm not going to kick a seller out of the house for me to go, preview it. But then just appointment up, go preview it, do that. You can also do that same thing in some new construction neighborhoods, right? Go to model homes, out here at, XYZ neighborhood, this house is fantastic. Like, check this house out. Like, wow, look at this cool room that they've got, or, look at these cool amenities in this neighborhood that they've got. If you're looking to buy new construction, you want to have your own representation, hit me up.
Okay.
Yeah. So 100% you want to be on social media and all platforms. And I think video is the best way. One of, the best way.
Okay. I'd never have thought of that. So thank you.
You can
And
do
then
that.
Donna said Op City. If you're not familiar with Op City, reach out to
I do have that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's another good opportunity.
I've been getting a few leads in here and there. I've been working almost, they come in as they come in, but it does consistently come in. So I've been using that for sure.
And then on Wednesdays, is this what you were going to say, Jeff? On Wednesdays?
No, I was going to piggyback on kind of what you're saying, because that idea that she said right there, that's a great idea in terms of the videos. Again, going to new construction, vacant homes that are listed, You can set up a preview, like, you know, whatever, like you're looking for some potential buyers, that kind of stuff, and go in the house and just, you know, but you could do 2 or 3 of those a day.
Yeah.
But
Cool,
and then
cool.
again, your sphere on social media, all of a sudden, like, you know, like, oh, wow, you know, like, and what's your name again? I'm sorry, you said
It's Katrina Sanders.
Katrina. So, you know, what, like, Katrina's the expert. She's the realtor. The other one I would tell you, and it is a cheap service. I mean, I learned this here just a couple of months ago, just signed up, is that one I just showed you, Keeping Current Matters. I mean, it's
Okay.
like 30, 40 bucks a month. And there's tons of stuff on there daily
To
that
talk
they come
about.
out with that you can be posting, you know,
Gotcha.
on social media. And it's very simple to do. You could put, and all you do, you can click some buttons and it will post for you. You can set up automatic posts with it where it does it
Nice.
without you doing it. You can actually schedule it with Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook, and it'll do
Great.
it for you if you set it up. And you know, it's all customized to you. It has your logo, your name, your phone number, all that stuff on there. So again, just a simple thing to do and pretty cheap, you know. The other thing I would say is get out where the people are.
Gotcha.
If you have a name tag, wear the name tag. Kelly Courtner was on here a few weeks ago and did a mastermind, kind of led a mastermind for us. She's been in the business 2 years. She did 90 closings her first 2 years, and
Oh,
she
wow.
just talks to everybody. That's honestly, that's her biggest tool. And well, here's what she does. She mentioned it on there. She wears her name badge upside down. And she talked about this. So she'll be in line at the grocery store and some, or even at a coffee shop, and someone come up to, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but oh wow, you're right. I'm so thank you for telling me, whatever. And next thing you know, she's in a conversation. You know, hi, I'm Kelly.
Mhm.
What's your, you know, I'm whatever, and just meeting people. You know, she talks to everybody. Next thing you know, it's like, you know, she's whatever, somebody's looking to buy or looking to sell down the road, or they know somebody who is, and she's getting referrals like that from those people while she's standing in line at, you know, Walmart or wherever. But get out and talk to people. My first deal came from sitting in a Starbucks and overhearing a conversation, whatever, and I just went over to them and gave them my card, and next thing you know, I'm over there meeting them because they're getting ready to list their house and getting transferred out of Colorado Springs with the military, you know. And it just because, and I didn't know them, but that was my first deal in the business 20 years ago. So
Gotcha.
get out where the people are. You know, don't sit in an office, don't sit at home, and like, even like the Keeping Current Matters, don't sit there at your home computer, do it. Take your laptop and go out and be where the people are and do it there, and meet people while you're out there. You know, it's just
Well,
the more people you talk to, the more people you're going to find that are looking to buy or sell or know somebody who is.
yeah, we
Gotcha.
can't be secret agents. One thing I'll say, so talking about Starbucks, so this is on the back of my laptop. So this is my laptop here. So if I'm sitting in a Starbucks, and I have it open, this is what they see.
There you go.
Hmm.
It's a billboard right there in the
It's a
coffee.
billboard. So it's just a conversation starter, you know. But like Jeff said, if you don't, you can't wait for them to start conversations, right? You know, but many times it will start conversations. You know, everyone's like, oh, how's the market? You know, what do you think's going on with these interest rates? On and on and on. It just starts conversations when people know that you're in the business. You know, but don't be the secret agent. You know, hey, one thing I want to wrap up with, you know, let Jeff, you too, but did everybody see, we talked about this on that last mastermind, did everybody see, you know, with the FTC and Open Door, and, you know, they're getting sued. Like, you know, it says the FTC takes action to stop online home buying from Open Door from potentially cheating sellers with misleading claims about their home buying service. Company will have to pay $62 million and stop deceiving customers about the supposed benefits of its service. Yesterday, Glenn Sanford, our owner, posted that, and he said, you know, is this the beginning of the end of Open Door? I don't know. $62 million is a lot of money. And so I thought that was interesting.
For sure.
Yeah. So
Lots of good comments. I want to make sure we're getting all these answered here. One thing, Donna Walsh, great idea. Each day of the week, create something for your followers, you know, to look forward to. So Monday, new build of the day. Tuesday, featured local restaurant of the day. Wednesday, walking tour, downtown area. Thursday, lender link introductions. Friday, new listings of the week. Anything but keep it regular. Good idea. Okay,
Yeah,
something. And again, so like Katrina, you could do that, like a video every day, but it's something different, a different topic, and you're around town doing different things. But you know, different things you could do, marketing and stuff. So. Very cool. One last thing I want to share, guys, and then we will wrap it up. It's 10 o'clock. Let me get out of this. Let me go back to this right here. So as far as the Freedom Team, just make sure you get this. You go into Workplace, okay? If you're part of EXP, the calendar, okay? You can click on this. We update this constantly. Kim is doing a phenomenal job keeping all this together. Tomorrow, okay, 11 a.m. Eastern, same time, same Zoom link, Lead Gen Mastermind. We do that every Wednesday, okay? There's attraction training Mondays and Thursdays. We do this every Tuesday. Every Tuesday and Thursday, okay, for an hour a day, there's a concierge hour. And that's something you can come in, and again, it's almost like this, but just on a one-on-one basis, like anything real estate, anything EXP, anything in your business, marketing questions, anything, come in and there'll be more of a one-on-one thing. There's somebody there. Kim will be there. One of the leaders of Freedom Team will be in there, whatever, but we'll help with this. So there's this concierge hour, but you can find all the details on this calendar in the Workplace group for Freedom Team. And again, if you're not part of EXP, whatever, just know that we're here for you. We do this every week as well. Obviously every Tuesday, and this is open to everybody here. So anything else, Aaron, anything you want to add, throw out before we're done?
I can add to the new agent thing.
Sure.
I think all great points. Donna's comment was awesome as far as doing a video of those. I would say, if you first started, you definitely should have already mailed out a letter. If not, a letter and a business card to everybody that's in your database. Establish a database of at least 100 people. I would contact everyone that that owns a home. Say, hey, I'm brand new into real estate. It's okay to be brand new into something. I'm brand new into real estate. And one of the things that I really want to work on is how I do market evaluations for homes and come up with values. Would you be opposed to me doing an evaluation on your property, totally free, so that I can get practice and then you know exactly what your home's worth? Now you've established a relationship, you send them out the market evaluation, and now you can follow back up on that after you send it out. So it's send a piece, follow up on the piece, so on and so forth. Same thing with buyers. I can set you up on a free home search. No, you're not looking to buy, but why don't you just set something up that you would be interested in whatever city? And again, if they're in an apartment, that home that you're sending them is going to be better than the home that they're in. And, you could get a buyer from it, but it's getting familiar with all the things like MLS, creating comps, communicating with people that you already know, like, and trust, and already know, like, and trust you. So when you're communicating with someone that doesn't know you, it will be much easier and much more second nature for you to do it. And it's not quite as scary when you are talking to somebody that you don't have a relationship with.
Good stuff. Very cool. Kathy, anything else? Wrap it up?
Yep. No, thanks everybody for coming and contributing. And, that's what makes it powerful, like all this collaboration with, some great agents. So thank y'all.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much. We'll be back here next Tuesday. Again, stuff going on every day. Check out the Workplace calendar. If we can help you at all, reach out to us. Let us know. We're here. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Have a good week.
Bye, everybody.
See you soon.
Thank you.